Hello everyone, if you're new here, I'm Alan with 𝗏𝗧𝗏 and this channel is all about sharing the joy of candle making. Welcome back for part 2 to the Simbi Fragrance Haul, where I'm going to be sharing some of the ones I was most excited for in part 1 but didn't get to. Now, I'm going to have part 1 linked down below as well as up top for you guys, so we're going to jump right into it and I hope you enjoy. One quick thing I do want to say is, as always, I will be ranking these over on my Patreon from my least favorite to my most favorite, just like always. So if you're not already a member, the link to join is down below. You also get a ton of other perks, like all my formulas used for 𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏, as well as one-on-one support. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. So let's take a look first at the Late Night Muse. I'm very intrigued by the name on this one. I'm wondering if it's going to be, I don't know, kind of like earthy, but maybe has like some little bit of like cologne or leather in the air to it. Or maybe it's gonna be like a fruitier, kind of spicier take. This could be a lot of different things. Oh, and as always, I'm just gonna say, I don't look at any of the notes prior to the filming of these videos, but I will put them up on the screen for you so that you can laugh at me when I basically get none of them right. But I know a lot of you guys really appreciate my feedback. So here goes the Late Night Muse. Let's see what it's gonna do. Ooh, this is a warm ambered fragrance, reminiscent in some ways of, if you like Warm Sugar Vanilla by Bath & Body Works, has a prominent vanilla character to it as well as just a beautiful warm amber. It has a lot in common to the Obsidian Sugar by Black Tie Barn, as well as the Ambered Vanille by Candle Science in their luxury collection. It's a dark, well, kind of a golden amber, I would say, like a dark red to golden type of an amber combined with some vanilla and some warmth to it. This does come through lighter out of the bottle than I might expect based on the notes. Yeah, it's just a very well done ambered vanilla fragrance. Again, reminds me of Armani's Better With You collection. The parfum concentrate of the one that I'm thinking of in particular, I'll put up on the screen if you guys know that scent. If you don't, you can just go into like Ulta or Sephora and spray it. Like, it's in every location. But that's what this really reminds me of. Next, let's take a look at the Ruby Beets and Ginger. Now, I recently smelled a beet fragrance by Black Tie Barn from the Raised Garden collection. It was called the Beetroot, and I reviewed that one pretty highly. Now, that said, it is going to be more of like a niche type of a fragrance. I'm hoping that this has a more balanced profile to it that is like a spice type of a beet, maybe. So, here goes. Ruby Beets and Ginger. I can smell something from a foot away. Oh. Yeah. This is not what I was expecting really, but it works very well because I'm getting this type of a beet that, again, like a true beet, kind of like the beetroot. But in this case, there are different spices added to the top, not really cinnamon. It's more of like a clean, almost summer type of a spice. You could definitely have this one year round, I would say. It has a clean finish. There's probably some citrus notes as well on the top. It, to me, comes off a bit, yeah, it's a bit spice. I wish I was getting a little bit more of the ground, a little bit more of the earth, and maybe I am getting sort of a leafy character to this as well, which I really appreciate, like a green leaf. It has, I would say, a nice profile. There are a bit more spice notes to it though. I wish those were just toned down a little bit more. Next up, let's take a look at the, I'm very excited for the Spiced Honey and Patchouli and the Guest House and Black Tea and Vices. I'm gonna be saving those till the end, but I will put up timestamps for you guys. So I know I'm the same way. Sometimes I just really wanna watch a particular reaction to a certain scent. So I will put those up for you. But this next one, the Spiced Honey and Patchouli, I'm wondering if this is going to be kind of like a hayride type of a fragrance. Spiced honey can do really well. It's very widely liked, I would say. You know, like Spiced Honey and Tonka from Candle Science, for example, that's often one that people will use in the fall, or they can even use it year-round as like a cozy. It brings about this kind of nostalgia, golden milk fragrances, honey fragrances, oatmeal milk and honey fragrances, But then with the patchouli, I feel like that's going to bring in an earthier element, kind of a skankier earthier element a little bit. So I wonder if it's going to be like a hayride type of a character. Here goes spiced honey and patchouli. Oh. Okay, this is definitely lighter than I would expect out of the bottle based on the notes. What I am getting reminds me of, there's a lot of patchouli in this, kind of like a witch's brew type of a patchouli. If you're familiar with Patchouli by Candle Science, which ironically doesn't smell like patchouli in my opinion, however it is my bestseller in the fall, one of them. This is very similar to that, but it has, I would say, maybe a little bit more ambery notes to it as well. And that's one thing that I've gotten from a lot of Simbi's fragrances, that they utilize amber very, very effectively, and sandalwood, I have noticed. I don't even know if I'm talking about the notes that are in the actual oil, but I'm getting that in a lot of these, and it makes the whole line very cohesive. It makes it like everything just goes together with the other oils in a cohesive way, because it's all bound together by some common threads, but they all stand out as unique oils within that. That's something that I did in my Wanderlust collection, actually. I utilized sandalwood, a sandalwood fragrance, and I actually blend that in a number of the different scents in that collection, and it creates this kind of underpinning that just creates depth and cohesiveness within the collection while each scent maintains its individuality. So this is a warmer take on like a patchouli fragrance, for example, like the Patchouli by Candle Science. You're getting some spices, you are getting some patchouli, but the spices combined with the patchouli, and then the honey in this one. So very well done. My criticism is I wish I was getting more of it out of the bottle. I really like everything I'm getting though. So it's a warmer take on like a cauldron type of a witch's brew fragrance, I would say. Next, let's take a look at, what do you guys think? Let's get the Morning Mist over with. I'm not as excited for this one as some of the other names, but, you know, everyone loves a good ozonic fragrance, so let's see what this one's gonna do. I'm expecting it to smell like clean air, maybe have a cotton note to it, maybe have like a little bit of grass, a little bit of earth, maybe a citrusy top note. Here goes the Morning Mist. Oh, interesting. So I'm getting a lot of like 𝗖𝗓𝗍𝗬𝗓 to this. Very interesting. Maybe a lot of like galbanum as well. It has a prominent 𝗖𝗓𝗍𝗬𝗓 profile. If you guys don't know what that is, it smells kind of like airy and like a little bit of a woody way at the same time. It's used in a lot of different perfumes and colognes. Yeah, there's something in this though that isn't quite working for me, and I can't tell. It may just be, it may come through differently in wax. Yeah, so it has kind of a cashmere vibe to it as well. But like, if you're familiar with Cashmere Cedar, for example, by the Flaming Candle, kind of that more type of a cashmere. Or if you're familiar with the Legacy by Black Tie Barn, kind of that vibe. But it's done more like the air. I am getting though a note in this that's more of like a like an 𝗖𝗓𝗍𝗬𝗓 or maybe some ambroxan or something, or some I think it's galaxolide, that it's just a little bit overdone out of the bottle. The balance doesn't come off to my nose as much as I would like out of the bottle on this one. You know, I wish I was maybe getting like, I am getting some earthier notes in this one too, but maybe a little bit more of a mid profile. I'm getting a really nice top and base profile to this one, but I'm not getting, I feel like there's maybe a berry to this that's in the heart, but I wish I was getting more of it. Like, not more berry per se, but just more of a warmth that hits me instead of like this fragrance that's very like, again, top and base heavy. And I wish there was more of a developed midsection to this one. I'm so excited for the cookies for Santa. And let's just do this Basil Sesame. I want to get this one over with. I'm not as excited for this one. I'm excited for the Black Tea and Vices, the Cozy Christmas, the Guest House, basically everything else, the Pumpkin Patch, and the Cookies for Santa. I am intrigued by this, but I don't think I've ever had like a sesame marketed fragrance. So that does intrigue me, but it seems like it would be something very niche, right? So here goes the Basil Sesame. Basil can be very easily overdone as well in the essential oil form. So hopefully there's something in this to kind of tone it down and give it a smoother finish. Here we go. Oh. Okay, I'm actually getting a prominent citrus note to this one. So there is some basil. Basil tends to be a skankier kind of note. Yeah, a prominent citrus. There's a hint of basil. I'm almost again getting kind of a green tea lemongrass type of a vibe from this. It's lighter than I would expect out of the bottle based on the notes though, I will say that. The sesame, I don't know that I'm getting anything that really reminds me of sesame to this one, and I'm not really mad about that because I wouldn't necessarily want that in a fragrance. I get like a nice yoga studio type of a vibe from this one. Yeah, kind of like a green tea lemongrass fragrance. Or if you guys have smelled like rosemary or lemon verbena, it reminds me of that as well. Not in a candy-like way. That's one thing I really want to underscore that I really like about this company is none of these really come off as candy fragrances. You guys know I will give the fruity fragrances a very hard time on this channel if they come through as like a synthetic-y candy type of a vibe. And some people do like that, but I tend to be very critical of it because to me, it just smells like kids section. And I don't think there's been one thing from this video or the last video from this company that strikes me remotely like that. Next up, let's take a look at the Cozy Christmas. Now, based on the color of this bottle, I'm wondering if this is gonna be more of like a berry type of a fragrance, more of like a spiced berry Christmas vibe, like a Christmas wreath. Here goes the Cozy Christmas. Yup. Okay, very prominent red note to this one. Has a lot of cinnamon to it. If you're a cinnamon fan, I think this is one of the most unique takes I've had on a cinnamon fragrance, like a luxe red hot candy type of a vibe. I definitely get something that you could interpret as a straight on red hot candy, but the way that this is done comes through as like an upscale version, I would say, of that. I'm gonna get a little bit more. Yeah, so it's like a cinnamon hearth or something, like a cinnamon wreath, like a crimson hearth or something. This is not my cup of tea at all. I'm not really a cinnamon person, but I'm intrigued by this because I think that it's well balanced. There's gotta be some woodier notes to this one as well on the base. Yeah, it just smells like it has a lot of warmth to it in a festive type of a holiday way. I do get a little bit of clove to this one as well. I don't know if it's in there, but it's prominently more cinnamon, but then there is also like some clove and some, I feel like some different like tree notes in the base. But it's gonna come through as mainly a cinnamon, like a luxe cinnamon red candy type of a fragrance. Next up, let's take a look at the Black Tea and Vices. Now this is one that I want to say I have smelled before. Like I think one of my friends brought this one over because she has a lot of Simbi oils. And this is one I think that she really liked. And I really liked too, but I can't remember because this was like a year or two ago. But black tea fragrances tend to be very upscale when they're done well. I don't know, I'm just expecting something that is going to, I don't know what Black Tea and Vice is. I just feel like it's gonna be, maybe have like some tobacco to it as well. Is this like gonna be reminiscent of like Boston Harbor type of a vibe? I should know this, I feel like, but I don't for sure. But I feel like this is gonna be like East Coast. Anyways, here goes Black Tea and Vices. Let's see what it's gonna do. Oh my God. Okay. Definitely my favorite thing I've smelled so far in this video, and possibly in this video and the last video. This leans very upscale. It's clean too, and there's definitely a tobacco note in this. It's a clean tobacco note combined with this dry black tea. Oh, this makes me want to drool. This is so good. Okay, so, wow. I'm getting some patchouli to this as well. Not a spicy patchouli though. Yeah, it's just got a little bit of a skankier base to it that's playing really, really well with like this hay and tobacco and dried tea leaves. You could definitely brand this as like a cozy bookshop, a cozy, like a library nook. But it also just has this, it has this luxe feel, like a night type of a feel to it as well. It's cozy and warm, but it's also like festive, like not really festive. It's like inspiring in like an evening type of a way. Yeah, this is a stunning, stunning fragrance oil. I have definitely smelled this before though when she brought it over, but I haven't smelled this from any other companies. Wow. Hands down my favorite thing from both videos, I would say. All right, guys, I had to run into the bathroom and like wipe off my nose because I keep like slightly whacking myself in the face with these oils, and I want to make sure that what I'm smelling isn't, you know, contaminated with the last oil. This next film we're going to take a look at is The Guest House, and I'm really, really intrigued by this. I do think that my friend might have brought this one over once too, and I think I really liked it, but I don't know. I'm expecting something that's going to lean, again, hotel, like resort. So it could go a number of different directions. This could go really clean. It could go, I wouldn't really expect fruity, maybe a balanced fruity profile with something that's more of like a fig or more of like a clean, earthier profile. Again, very grounded and upscale, like you're walking into a higher end hotel lobby. Here goes The Guest House. Oh, yes. Okay, this is one of my more favorite things that I've smelled in both videos for sure. Wow, what am I even smelling? So I'm getting some higher end, almost berry notes to this. I don't know if that's in here. Has like a little bit of a peppery top note as well. Very, very subtle. It's just gonna come off as really well balanced. It won't come through as peppery. I wonder if that is from like a bayberry note to this. It almost has, yeah, kind of like this greenish color to it. I would even beg to say it's more of like a bluish green. It comes through as like a white woods almost. Like a little bit musky, but in a clean type of a way. Not like a clean cotton. I wonder if there is like cardamom to this in the top. Cardamom is a spice that can come through as, it can often be paired with fig, for example, or higher end hotel fragrances. It doesn't really come through as spicy a lot of the time. It just adds a nice profile to the top. Or some, yeah, I would say there's gotta be some cardamom in this. Maybe a hint of star anise. Wow. Yeah, this is very well done. This is definitely a wearable scent. Definitely a scent that you'd smell going into like a hotel lobby or like a guest house, but also just an attractive smelling cologne or perfume. It doesn't strike me as a gender either. A lot of these fragrances I would say are very androgynous. Just, oh, they smell expensive. We got 2 more to go and I'm very excited for both of them. So we have the Cookies for Santa, and gourmands can definitely be harder to do, I would say, especially for companies that lean more high end, because gourmands can easily come off, I would say, as like a bakery. And so they're harder to make more upscale. That's why I'm particularly excited for this. I do really like Velvet Vanilla by Candle Science, for example, as an upscale gourmand, as well as the Sassy Pumpkin by Black Tie Barn, and I'll put the name up on the screen of the 𝗏𝗥𝐶 fragrance. I can smell something from a foot away though with this that is literally spot on, reminding me of a cozy cookie. So here goes, Cookies for Santa. Let's see what it's gonna do. I'm hoping this isn't too sweet though. Yep, oh my God. Okay, this is exactly what I was looking for a fragrance like this. Now, there is an oil that I do already get by candlesandSupplies.com called Sugar Cookie that this does really remind me of. And I'll probably do a side-by-side over on my Patreon. But this is a stunning buttered cookie, and you definitely get the bread to it. I oftentimes will give like bakery fragrances a hard time if I'm not getting the bread. And I'm just getting like the top note where it smells like vanilla extract-y. You definitely get some of that vanilla extract, but you get this beautiful, chillingly beautiful pastry, like cookie bread dough, the flour, the butter to it. And that's exactly what I'm looking for in a fragrance like this. These are so hard for companies to do for whatever reason. And this one just is a very cohesive balance of all those notes. And I would just highly recommend it out of the bottle. I'm also getting it really prominently, which I would expect from a gourmand fragrance, but from something that's more of a vanilla cookie, they can sometimes come off a little bit lighter out of the bottle, and this one doesn't. This is just a beautiful, rich, buttered vanilla sugar cookie, but without too much of the sugar and with a good balance of the bread, like the dough, the baked caramelized dough and butter. And last but not least, let's take a look at the pumpkin patch. Now, this is a fragrance that I feel like she's talked about a lot on her Instagram and said specifically that this is supposed to smell not like a spiced pumpkin, which is what a lot of fall pumpkin fragrances can lean toward. Those are easier for companies to do when they're making the oils. But she said specifically that this will lean like a pumpkin patch, like the name. And I am very, very excited to smell it because I haven't smelled any fragrance oils that I would say really lean like that are pumpkin marketed. They do tend to lean more of a gourmand pumpkin because that can be easier to do, I feel like, as a whole. So from what I know, they worked really hard on this one, and I believe it's one of their originals as well. Super excited for the pumpkin patch. Here we go. Oh. Wow. Yeah, this is a straight on pumpkin patch. I do get some spice to it. However, this is more of a fresh pumpkin because this is what I wanted from Candle Science's Cashmere Pumpkin. So it smells like you're on a hayride and you're gonna get some pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. So you do get, yeah, you get a little bit of green to this as well, but it's kind of more of a luxe textile. But it does have a little bit of spice to it as well. So I think that really is necessary because the pumpkin just totally by itself, I don't think would work. So this doesn't come off though as a gourmand, like a rich, sultry type of a gourmand. This comes off as, again, like I'm on a hayride, I'm gonna get a pumpkin in the pumpkin patch, and I get even a little bit of the ground and a little bit of like the tangled vines to this one. Almost like what you might want from Candle Science's, gosh, I'll put the name up on the screen, pumpkin souffle, but much less spicy. You get more of the orchard pumpkin as well as like the hay. This is a really, really, really unique take on a pumpkin. My one criticism is I wish it were more prominent out of the bottle. However, there are a lot of mid and base notes to this. I would say there's also a top note. I don't know if there's nutmeg or some type of a spice that's not an obtrusive spice. There's no cinnamon that I'm really getting. It's more of, I think, nutmeg to this one in the top. And then it has just the full orchard experience. Well, a huge thank you to Simbi for sending me these oils for an authentic, unfiltered review on the channel. I will be ranking them, as always, from my least favorite to my most favorite over on Patreon. The link to join is down below. Give this one a thumbs up if you did enjoy, and I'm sending all of you peace, love, and light, and I'm wishing all of you happy candle making. I'd like to take the time to thank my patrons for their incredible support.
Trusting your instincts, realize that knowing looks different to each. When living authentic, do more exploring, deeper than knowing just what is essential for life that is thriving. Go deep, mute out the chatter, feel it, burn off the fire, let go until there's peace to your core. Live a life you adore. yourself all that's standing. Live free from worry. Live by just being. Power and finding your wholeness in now. Goldie, mute out the chatter. Feel it, burn off the fire. Let go until there's peace to your core. Live a life you adore. Live a life you adore. Live a life you adore.
Keep being yourself. Stay authentic at all costs. And never lose your spark. Because that's what makes your brand uniquely you. I'm rooting for you. And I know you have what it takes to be successful and to have fun with this craft. Until next time, happy candle making.